Hello guys, welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Today video we are going to talk about Sass. What is this Sass? Why we need to use Sass instead of CSS? And what is the difference between CSS and the Sass, right? And also some of the example project which I have developed or designed that I am going to share the best practice with you. Okay, then without much more talk, let's dive into the video. Okay, what is this Sass basic? So Sass is basically a CSS preprocessor. CSS preprocessor? What is that CSS preprocessor? Is there any something special there? Yes. So there's something special if you are using a Sass. If you're using a Sass, very easy to design your layouts, and this will give you more power than CSS giving. Basically, when we talk about the Sass, this is basically the extended versions of CSS. So CSS. So hope you know about CSS. If you don't know about it, let me explain you the basic idea of the CSS. So CSS is normally CSS3, right? So normally what you are doing is, if you are designing some layout in your HTML, you are using CSS3 and you are updating the appearance, right? So appearance or the coloring, background images adding, or you are adding a borders, everything you are doing in CSS3. So it's a style sheet. But Sass is go beyond that, and it will giving you more power and to design the layout more advanced way, right? So basically when the design get larger, right, the CSS is getting larger if you are doing a design, right? So what happen is very difficult to maintain, right? Very difficult to maintain. That is the one kind of problem everyone facing in if you're using a CSS. But if you're using a Sass, right? So if you're using a Sass, that will giving you the mixin and the variable and modular, right? So even it's giving a more, but these are some of the few day-to-day life every developers are using, right? So what is this? Sass is the variable we can define and import the modules, and we divide that, split it to the modules. That kind of easiness facility Sass is providing. When you come into the Sass world, right? So when you come into, or if you are going to use the Sass, you get confused. There are the two syntax they're saying, Sass and SCSS. Okay, what is the difference between this Sass and SCSS? Basically this is an extension, right? So SCS is coming with a bracket. You can see here it's coming with a bracket, and if you are using a Sass with the Sass extension, it is coming without a bracket. So this is the difference between a Sass and SCSS, right? Let's come back to the topic. CSS, it's very difficult when the designs files are getting increased. So we need to divide it if that getting increased. So is that possible to do in CSS? No, right? Absolutely. We can't do anything with CSS, but Sass is giving that power facility, right? So let's go to their official documentations and get it know about what is this Sass. Okay, this is a basic Sass. So Sass is basically the preprocessor. I'm not going to reading every stuff, but I will give you a basic understand of that, right? Basically the preprocessor, but keep in mind at the end of the day, whatever the writing you are in a Sass, it's compiled to CSS. That is what the truth is, right? Okay, go to the documentation once again. You can see the preprocessor, right? CSS on its own be fun, but style sheet are getting larger, more complex and harder to maintain. This is where the preprocessor can help. Sass has features that don't exist in CSS yet, like nesting, mixing, inheritance and other nifty goodies that help you to write a robust maintainable CSS. This is the purpose of this Sass. I'm not going to talk about or reading about this all the stuff, but I'll giving some ideas, right? Oh, here we can see variables. In the video before I told you, Sass giving more facilities than CSS providing. So one of the thing is Sass providing is variable. So variable is basically we need to write this is in a dollar symbol. We can use this dollar symbol and we can write that code. Let's say for example we in our design, there's so many places we are using same color repeat and repeat, right? So this is become a duplicate code. Let's say for example, client want to change that color into a different color at the end of the project. So what we can do, we just opening the file, we need to copy that file and replace everything one by one, right? But if you are using a variable and you are using that particular variable into your CSS property, right? Sass your style property, there's a attribute and the value, right? So in the value you are using that variable, you only need to update one particular area, that is that variable where you define that value. You only need to change. That is the only thing you need to do basically. So this is the power of this Sass, right? Here you can see the variables. So how you need to declare the variable in your Sass file is $symbol and the variable name, and you can see the value you can assign here, that is the color. In this example they mention in the color, and you can see here now. So in the body they're using a color, that particular variable in the color property or attribute, the key, the value they're using as this variable. So right at the end of the day, what happen is, whatever the CSS you are writing here, right, whatever the Sass code you are writing here, it's end of the day it's converted to a CSS. So in your right side you can see this is the basic converted code which we are written in a CSS Sass, right? So this is all about the variables, right? And also nesting stuff. So if you are using a CSS, is that possible to nest it? No way, right? So there's no options to nest it if you are using a CSS, but if you are using a Sass, that is possible. Okay, let's dive into a nesting stuff. The example provided in our Sass official documentation. Here you can see we have this nav. So nav element is there, and unordered list are there, and list is there, and the anchor element is there, right? So here you can see nav element inside we have another 3 elements. This is what we call nesting, right? So let's say for example, in our nav element inside we have this ul inside we have this li inside we have this anchor tag, right? So the HTML is we written in the nested, right? So the same time you can do here in the CSS, you can nested in styling. So that kind of facilities Sass is giving, right? So this is what we call nesting. And other thing is, I definitely want to talk about modularizing. So modularizing means, let's say for example, if you are writing everything in a one place in your design, you can see a bunch of things like you have the button, right, and also the cards. These you can use that in different places, right? But if you write everything in a one place, very difficult for us. So instead of that, what we can do is we can split it. So splitting facility is already there. So what you need to do is you can cut that particular codes, right, and move it to a different folder, different file, and rename it that file as a CSS, right, and import it to your main Sass file. So that's how we splitting, and it's very easy to maintain the code base basically. So easy to maintain. So maintain is very difficult if the project get large and the design files are every CSS getting increased, the codes getting increased, very difficult to maintain. So this is a one kind of maintainability. Splitting mean we can everything arrange in a good places, so it's become very easy to understand when other developers also coming to your team, right? So everything's a module. So modules means yeah, you can split and you can maintain as a module. So this is how it was, right? So here the example they mention base SCSS. This is one kind of a file they have created, and here they using this variable and the body, right? And the bottom one you can see style SCSS. This is a main what we can say the main Sass class, Sass file. So base is there, Sass is style CSS is there. So normally two files are there. So what you can do is, if you want to import all these codes or all these CSS, all these CSS properties, if you need to import to that particular style CSS file, what you need to do is you can use this @decorator and use and base. So you don't need to mention here base.sess. Instead of that, what you need to do is you can use a base without extensions. So that kind of facilities providing. But here you can see in the CSS, right, in the CSS file, you can see this get rendered. So basically we have this body element and this class, right? So at the end of the day, if you convert this style CSS to CSS3, what here is, you can see every codes. So whatever the things you are import from the different files, everything you can see. If you convert everything to a CSS, you can see every CSS in one place. That is the beauty of this Sass. And especially we need to talk about a mixin, very helpful feature if you are working on a different, if you are using the same properties to a different classes. So this will reducing our time, and this is very easy to apply, right? So mixin is basically reusable of code, right? So everywhere, if you are duplicating, right, if you are use a same code in different places, right, so you don't need to do, because every codes become a duplicate. So normally there's a principle called don't repeat yourself. If you are a developer, you know about the don't repeat yourself methodology or a standard. So mixin will help you to keep your code dry, right? So mixin is basically, if you are using the same CSS snippet to a different places or multiple area, you can use this mixin and you can apply all the changes to the particular Sass class, right? Particular class. So in this example, you can see if you are writing a mixin, you need to use @decorator symbol and mixin. This is the name of this mixin class. And if you want to pass any arguments, you can use this dollar symbol, right? And here is the default value they provided here. And yeah, you can use this one background as a theme. They using this variable and the box shadow, everything, right? So this is basically reusable of code. And here you can see, if you want to include that particular mixin into your class, or right, so class, how you need to import is, you can use @include theme. So theme mean this mixin function, and include is the keyword you can use to include that particular mixin style into your particular class, right? So, and if you want to pass some different kind of argument or value, what you need to do is you need to use this @include once again, and you are using theme, this is a mixin function name, mixin name, and you can pass this dark red. This is how you need to use a mixin. At the end of the day, the CSS is looking like this, and the dark gray, dark red, and dark green. So yeah, this is the beauty of the mixing, right? So yeah, this is the basic things normally when you are doing the designing. So if you still want to learn everything in advance, go through this the official Sass site, right? So I will put every links in below comment section or below description. And yeah, okay, let's go to my one of the design I want to show you. Here, this is my one of the simple design project when I had a free time, right? And here you can see very simple project. I use the Node Sass for this, right? And let me show you quickly the HTML and design. It's running on port 5500, right? So this is one of the design I have did when I had a free time, and this is for this I have used Sass for this, and this is one of the beautiful simple and simple and responsive design I have did. Very simple site, one page site. So for this I have used Sass. So let me show you the code structures and all how I have did this. In this is my the project code base, and you can see in our index.html file is there already here, and you can see everything's there, and the main section is there. I divide everything in a sections, right, and the footer, right? So let's go to the package.json first. So in this package.json, I only in the dev dependency, you can see in the dev dependency I only use Node Sass. So Node Sass is a package manager. Node library. So basically npm package library I have used for this project, and this is what it was. So Node Sass. So I will put this link in below description, and you can go through it. And if you want to install this dev dependency or this package, what you need to do is in here install section you can use npm install Node Sass, right? So use this and install that into your project, right? Once it's done, you can create two folder called CSS and Sass. The CSS folder is for the output, whatever the things you are writing in the Sass, it's convert on output to style CSS. And the Sass project, you can create a main CSS file, and here is the main CSS file. So you can write your Sass code here, right? So how this whatever the things we are writing in main CSS, it converted to style CSS. That is the question. And package.json, you can see one of the in the script tag script object I have added one more key and value. So that is compile Sass, right? So I'm using the Node Sass. Sass main SCSS is my input file, and output, whatever the things we are writing in the main SCSS, you should be writing into a style SCSS, right? So this is the command I have already written in the script tag. And their official documentation also they mention, like I will show you that as well here. And here the command line interface, if you are using a command line interface, this is the example I taken here. So you can see here the Node Sass they are using, and src is their style CSS where all the CSS are written, and the destination it's converted to style. Whatever things you are writing in a style CSS, it should be the output of this style CSS, style CS. So in the options you can see the watch, and there's a bunch of commands they have already provided, but you can go through that advanced way. But for a watch, I will explain you watch. If you are only using this Node Sass, what happen is whatever the changes you didn't doing in the main CSS file, that is not getting changed. So if you want to detect the changes or what the changes each time, whatever the things you are doing or updating in your SCSS file, means SCSS file. If you're using this minus watch symbol, it will automatically detect the changes and update the UI. So this is what basically doing. And I will show you the main CSS file. So this is how I have written those things. So in the main SCSS file, I have declared a bunch of variables. So Sass variable, CSS variable, right? And the same, I have modularized some of the components, or we can say some of the layout, like a grid I have divided into, right? Split it and we move it to different folders, and I'm importing here. And you can see that is a modularized. A third one is you can see the nesting, and the header you can see this is a one level block level, right? And here I'm using the logo box, and using this add symbol and logo box and add symbol and the text box and logo, right? Let me show you first of all, before talking about the nested stuff, I want to show you the structure of this HTML file. And this is my index HTML file, and you can see here we are using this block element called header. So it's a header, and what kind of symbol, maybe you will think what kind of symbol is this, right? So here I have followed BEM methodology. So BEM is a CSS naming convention. So it's a kind of a standard we can use, that is BEM is stand for Block-Element-Modifier, right? So if you don't know about a block level modifier, one of the best document is there. I will put that in the comment section. This is the BEM methodologies. So why we need the BEM and how these examples, and there's so many things that they provided. You can go through it later, right? And yeah, let's go back to our code. And here you can see header.logo box and header.logo, header text box, right? So this is how I have written this header. It's one kind of component, but I not split it into a different file, but I keep that is as it is. And but here you can see that example in header I have nested this logo box. I'm not repeating any things here, because header logo box is there, header is there, and header text box is there, but I'm not writing this header class once again. Instead of that, I have used and symbol. So what happened is, if you're using this header and header logo, once after we convert, let me run that code. Unmute use compile Sass, which is coming from this package compile Sass project, right? And now we are in a watch state mode, right? So let's go to our main CSS, and you can see the logo box, text box, everything's are there. It's coming with a header logo. Let's go to our output style CSS, and here you can see our body. Let's go here, sorry, header. Now you can see we have the header logo box, header text box, everything's are written for us. This is the real beauty of this Sass. We talk about nested as well right now, and variable also, and modularized. If you split something and we keep everything on different folder, and if you're importing that, everything's are getting applied. Okay, now let's move into a mixing. Okay, for a responsive purpose, I have used this Mixins. So we already talked about Mixins. It's a reusable piece of code we can return and apply to everywhere. So in this Mixin SCSS file, you can see here I'm respond. If it is a respond, we are checking this if condition. We are writing if condition if the breakpoint is a big desktop. So when you are coming to responsive design, you know there we need to write a media query for a different kind of screens. So these are the screens I have specified here. It's a kind of reusable code. We can based on the condition, if it is if you are passed that is a breakpoint as a big desktop, and then this media query should be applied. So content is basically whatever the things, if you are using this respond, and if you are inside that particular respond mixin, if you are passing any kind of styles, it should be applied if you are using this add content decorator, right? Let's go to our main CSS file, and okay, let's open the simple one. Here in HTML you can see I'm using this respond mixin. I'm using this respond mixin, and I'm passing this is a big desktop. If it is a big desktop, what you need to do is the font size should be 81.25, right? And if it is a response, if it is a tablet portrait mode, then it should be 56.25%. So if it is a font, right, the font size should be 31.25%. So this is the help of the mixing. This is the beauty of the Sass, and there's so many options, and there's so many facilities already Sass is providing for us, right? This is the one of the design. If you want this template, right, so it's already I push every code changes into my Git repository. I will show you that repository. This is my official repository. Whatever the things I am doing in my free time, I'm pushing it into this repository. So don't worry, I will, if you want, I will put this GitHub repo URL description, and you can go through and you can download the code and you can run and can have a look, right? Okay, I think I covered everything here in this video, and this is the beauty of Sass. So hereafter, don't use CSS3. Instead of that, just use Sass. It will basically increase your productivity, and it will keep your code dry and very easy to maintain. That is the purpose we are using Sass. But yeah, at the end of the day, everything, whatever the thing you are writing in a Sass, everything's are converted to CSS. Yeah, that's it. I have one more request to you guys. If you are not yet subscribed my channel, go below and click this subscribe button and hit the bell button as well. So if you hit the bell button, whatever the new video I am publishing here, you will get notified. Okay, then I hope I covered everything, and I will definitely put every links in the below descriptions. And yeah, that's it. Then I will catch you on new video. Then bye.